1. Introduction. My name is Sophie. I was 26 years old. My life was not easy. I had very little money. I needed to pay my rent, but I did not have enough. I felt very desperate. I had no one to help me. This made me feel sad and worried all the time. One night, I had to work at a big party. It was in a very fancy hotel. I was a waitress there. I put on my best red shoes and a fake smile. I had to look happy, even though I was not. My job was to carry drinks to the rich guests. The hotel was beautiful. There were many people dressed in expensive clothes. Loud music played, and everyone was laughing. I felt very different from them. I just wanted to earn enough money for my rent. I walked around the room with a tray of champagne glasses. I was very tired. My feet hurt in the red shoes. Suddenly, I tripped a little. My hand shook, and the champagne spilled. Oh no, it went all over a man's suit. His suit looked very expensive. It was dark and elegant. I felt my heart beat fast. I thought he would be very angry. I imagined him shouting at me. I was ready to say sorry many times. I thought I might lose my job. I looked up at him, ready for his anger. But he did not shout. He did not look angry at all. He looked at me and smiled. His smile was kind. He was an older man, but he was handsome. He looked very rich and powerful. He simply said, "Call me Anthony." His voice was calm and deep. I was very surprised by his kindness. I did not expect it. Most people would have been upset, but he was different. He just stood there, smiling at me. I felt a little confused, but also a little relieved. I quickly grabbed a cloth to try and clean his suit, but he waved his hand, telling me not to worry. He just kept smiling. This was how I met Anthony. My life was about to change in a way I could not imagine. 2. A big offer. After the party, a big surprise came. A few days later, a delivery person came to my small apartment. He brought a large bunch of beautiful flowers. They were red roses, my favorite color. I was very surprised. No one had ever sent me flowers before. There was a small card with the flowers. It said, "From Anthony." I remembered him from the party. He was the kind man I had met. The next day, a car came to my street. It was a very nice car, a black one with a driver. The driver held a small card for me. It had a message from Anthony. It said, "Dinner, just dinner, no pressure." I felt a little nervous, but also curious. My life was difficult, and this was something new. I decided to go. I put on my best simple dress. The driver took me to a very nice restaurant. It was a place I could never go to by myself. Anthony was already there. He stood up when I arrived and smiled. We sat down at a quiet table. The dinner was delicious. Anthony was a good listener. I talked about my life, my work, and my money problems. I did not plan to tell him so much, but he made it easy. He asked questions and listened carefully. He also told funny stories that made me laugh. I felt very comfortable with him. He made me feel important, not like a waitress, but like a special person. It was a very different night from my usual life. At the end of the dinner, when we were ready to leave, Anthony looked at me. His eyes were kind. He said something that surprised me very much. "I want to take care of you," he said. "Just let me." My heart stopped for a moment. I thought he was joking. How could someone say that? I had just met him. I was a waitress with no money. He was a rich man. He saw the surprise on my face. He spoke again. "I see you have many money problems," he said gently. "I can help you with them. I want to help you. I want to take care of your financial worries." He was not joking. He was serious. I was completely shocked. My mind went blank. This was a very big offer. It was an offer to change my whole life. I did not know what to say. My life was full of stress about money. This offer was like a dream, but also very real. It was a chance to stop worrying about rent and food. It was a chance for a new start. But it also felt strange. Was this real? What did he want? I looked at him. He seemed sincere. I needed to think. I told him I needed time to think about his big offer. He nodded and said he understood. He then sent me home in the nice car. My head was full of thoughts about Anthony and his surprising words. 3, a new life. I thought about Anthony's offer for a long time. It was a very important decision for me. My life before was very hard. I had no money and I felt lost. I needed a big change. So, after thinking much, I said yes to him. My life changed completely and very quickly after that day. It was like a new beginning for me. First, I moved to a beautiful new apartment. It was in a nice part of the city. It was much bigger than my old place. There were many rooms, and everything was new and clean. I also got many new things. I had expensive clothes, beautiful shoes, and nice bags. I did not need to work anymore. Anthony took care of all my needs. My old job as a waitress was gone. Now I lived a very different and easy life. When I was with Anthony, people often looked at us. We went to many fancy restaurants and big parties. They saw us together, a young woman and an older man. Anthony was much older than me by many years. People often talked about us when they thought we could not hear. I heard their whispers. They said things like, "She is too young for him," or "She only wants his money because he is rich." They wondered why I was with him. Sometimes their words made me feel a little uncomfortable, but I tried not to let their opinions bother me. At first, I knew what they were thinking. They were partly right. I knew why I was with Anthony. I needed his help. I needed money to live. My life before was very difficult, and he offered me a comfortable and safe new life. I was very thankful for his kindness and his help. I was with him for comfort and for security. It was not for love at that time. I did not have strong feelings of love for him then. He was good to me, and I enjoyed being with him, but it was not love in a romantic way. One afternoon, I was in his big house. I walked into his study room. This was where he worked and kept his important things. On a small table, I saw a picture frame. It was a photo of a young woman. I picked it up carefully. She was very beautiful with long, dark hair. Her eyes were big and dark, just like mine. She looked exactly like me. I felt a strange and surprising feeling inside me. This was Anthony's ex-wife. Why did she look so much like me? It was very strange. I held the picture for a long time, thinking many new thoughts about Anthony and his past. 4. The marriage paper. One morning, a new person came to Anthony's house. He was a man with a serious face. He wore a dark suit and carried a thin bag. Anthony introduced him. "This is my lawyer," he said. The lawyer nodded and sat down at the big table in the living room. Anthony looked at me. "Sophie," he began, "I have an important question for you. I need a wife for my business image. It is for the press, for my company's look." He spoke calmly, as if he was talking about a simple business deal. "You will be my wife. It will be a marriage on paper. You will get paid very well for this. You will have a lot of financial security. You will never have to worry about money again." I listened to his words. My mind went back to my old life, to the days of worrying about rent and food. This offer was even bigger than before. It was a chance for complete safety. This was a business deal, not a love story. I knew that. I had come to Anthony for money, and this was a clear way to get it. "Yes," I said. My voice was a little quiet. "Yes, I will marry you." The lawyer opened his bag and took out a very long paper. It was a contract, a marriage contract. It had many pages, full of small words. He put it on the table in front of me. He pointed to a line at the bottom. "Please sign here," he said. I picked up the pen. My hand felt a little shaky. I looked at the words on the paper. It talked about money, about our agreement, about being a wife for his public image. It was all very clear. This was not about feelings. It was about security. It was about a new life without fear. I took a deep breath. I wrote my name on the line. The pen made a small sound as I finished. I put the pen down. As I did, a strange feeling came over me. It was not happiness. My heart felt a little heavy, a little sad. Why did it hurt? This was what I wanted, was it not? A life free from money problems. But a marriage that was only a business deal felt cold. It felt like a part of me was missing. I looked at Anthony. He gave me a small, polite smile. Our future was now set. It was a marriage on paper, signed and sealed. 5. A real kiss. The day of our wedding arrived. We went to the city hall. It was a small, quiet place. There were no guests, just Anthony and I. The man at the city hall spoke some words. We said, "I do." It was a simple ceremony. We did not smile. It felt like a business meeting, not a wedding. I wore a simple dress. Anthony wore a suit. We signed the paper. After that, we were husband and wife. It felt strange. It did not feel like a real marriage. It felt like I had just signed another contract. After the ceremony, we went back to the large apartment. It was very quiet there. We did not talk much. The day felt long and a little sad. I was a wife now, but it was not for love. It was for money and for Anthony's business. I tried to feel happy, but it was hard. Later that evening, the apartment was dark. I was in my room. I felt a little nervous. This was our first night as husband and wife. Anthony came to my door. He looked at me with soft eyes. He walked closer. My heart beat faster. He gently touched my face. His hand was warm. Then he leaned down and kissed me. It was not a quick kiss. It was soft and slow. It felt different from any kiss he had given me before. It was not like the kisses we shared in public just for show. This kiss felt real. It was full of emotion. I could feel something deep in it. It was not part of our business deal. It was not for his image. It was just for us in that quiet room. When he pulled away, I looked at him. My mind was full of questions. This kiss was not fake. It was real. It made me feel confused. I had married him for money and security. But this kiss, this moment, was not about money. It felt like the beginning of something new, something I did not expect. It felt like our relationship was changing. It was becoming something more than just a contract. It was becoming something dangerous. My heart was starting to feel things that were not part of my plan. I wondered what this new feeling meant for us. 6. His old wife. 1 week after the wedding, a woman came to our house. It was morning, and I was in the living room. The doorbell rang. When I opened the door, a woman stood there. She was very tall and wore beautiful, expensive clothes. Her face was calm, but her eyes looked cold. She looked at me for a long moment. I did not know who she was. Then she spoke. Her voice was quiet but strong. "You are just like me," she said. "You are like I was many years ago." I felt confused. "Who are you?" I asked. She smiled a little, but it was not a warm smile. "I am Anthony's ex-wife," she told me. My heart felt a quick beat. I had seen her picture, but meeting her was different. She was even more beautiful than in the photo. She stepped inside without waiting for me to invite her. She looked around the house. "Anthony likes a certain type of woman," she said. Her words were like ice. "He collects women. You are just his newest pretty toy." She looked at me again from my head to my feet. "He will get tired of you just like he got tired of me." She said these words and then walked out of the house. The door closed quietly behind her. I stood there for a long time. Her words stayed in my mind. He collects women. His latest pretty toy. I did not want to believe her. Anthony had been kind to me. He had taken care of me. Our kiss on the wedding night felt real. But her words made me feel a new worry. Was she right? Was I just another woman who looked like her? Later that day, I felt restless. I walked around the house. I went into Anthony's office. He was not there. I remembered the picture of his ex-wife I had found before. Now, her words filled my head. My eyes looked around the room. I saw his big wooden desk. Maybe there was something there. I felt bad looking through his things, but I needed to know. I needed to know if she was telling the truth. I opened the drawers slowly. There were many papers and pens. In one drawer, behind some books, I found a small box. Inside the box, there were many letters. They were old, tied with a ribbon. I pulled one out. The handwriting was Anthony's. I started to read. They were love notes. Long, loving words, but they were not written to me. They were written to his ex-wife. Her words echoed in my mind again. He collects women. Finding these letters made my heart feel very heavy. I started to believe her. 7, a big secret. The letters I found were a big shock. They were not for me. They were old love notes written to his ex-wife. My heart felt very sad. Tears fell from my eyes for a long, long time that night. I felt Anthony had lied. I thought he only wanted a woman who looked like his ex-wife. I felt like a toy, just as his ex-wife had said. I knew I could not stay in that house. I could not stay with Anthony. My life with him had started because of money. Now my heart was broken. I decided to leave. I needed to go back to my old life. I went to the bedroom and took out my suitcase. I began to pack my clothes. I put in a few dresses, some shirts, and my personal things. Each item felt heavy. I packed quietly, trying not to make any noise. I did not want Anthony to know what I was doing. When my bag was ready, I took a deep breath. It was very early in the morning. The house was still quiet. I walked slowly towards the front door. My hand touched the doorknob. Just as I was about to open the door, Anthony appeared. He stood there, blocking my way. My heart beat fast. I thought he would be angry. I thought he would ask me why I was leaving. But he did not look angry. He looked sad. He held a piece of paper in his hand. It was a legal document. He gave it to me. "Read this," he said softly. I took the paper. My hands shook a little. I looked at the words on the page. It was his will. I read the paper. My name was on every page. The paper said that everything Anthony owned would go to me. His money, his houses, his companies, all would be mine. I looked up at him, very surprised. "Why?" I asked. My voice was small. He looked at me with his kind eyes. "Because you are different, Sophie," he said. "When we first met, you did not ask for anything. You never asked me for money. You never wanted my things. You just wanted to be safe." His words touched my heart. I looked at the will again, then at him. In that moment, I understood many things. I did not want his money. I did not want his houses or his companies. I just wanted him. My feelings for him had changed. I did not marry him for money now. I realized that I had truly fallen in love with Anthony. He was not just a rich man, he was my husband, and I loved him. 8. Our new start. 1 year had gone by since that day. Our life was very different now. The big secrets were gone. The marriage contract was also forgotten. It felt like a long time ago. We were no longer two people making a business deal. We were a real husband and wife. Every day I felt happy. Our home was full of peace and love. I had found something I never thought I would have. I had found true love with Anthony. He was not just a rich man anymore. He was my real husband. In the morning, Anthony always woke up before me. He would bring me a cup of hot coffee. He put it next to my bed. This was a small thing, but it showed me his love. He would sit on the bed and talk to me about his day. He often called me his lucky girl. This made me smile every time. We had breakfast together in our quiet kitchen. We talked about simple things. We talked about our plans for the day. Sometimes we just sat and enjoyed the silence. These moments were very important to me. People still looked at us sometimes when we went out. They still saw the age difference, but I did not care anymore. Their whispers did not hurt me. I knew the truth about our love. Anthony showed me his love in many ways. He listened to me. He held my hand when we walked. He remembered small things I liked. He made me feel safe and important. He always put me first. I knew he truly cared for me. This was much more than money could ever buy. I still wore my red heels sometimes. They were the same red heels I wore on the first night I met Anthony. Back then, they were a symbol of my desperation. They were for work, for money. Now, they were different. I wore them because I wanted to. I wore them for Anthony. He liked them, and they reminded me of our journey. They reminded me of how our story started, but also how much it had changed. From a desperate waitress to a loved wife, my life had completely changed. I had married a man who was older and rich. People called him a sugar daddy. At first, I accepted this name. I needed his help. I needed his money to live. But now, I knew he was more than that. He was a kind man. He was a loving man. He was my partner. He was my best friend. He was my real husband. Our new start was not just about a new life. It was about a new kind of love. It was a love that grew from an unusual beginning. It was a love that was strong and true. We built our happy life together, day by day.